There we go. Hello. Oh, huge delay. That's weird. Urgh. Don't know what's going on with my Makina. That's never a good thing. I don't think I have anything open. Well, as long as the video looks fine out there, I just see myself like 2 seconds later than what I should be. So you're seeing me. I guess I'm seeing myself in the past, and you are seeing me in the future. Like my hand just raised just right now. Hopefully you're doing amazing. Pretty excited for today. Something that's I'm going to share an event that has never occurred in the 23 years that I've been doing this business. And I mean, never, ever occurred in the 23 years I've been doing this business. Completely blew my mind on a deal, which is pretty cool. Rob from Toronto, good to see you. Anna, always good to see you as well. Caleb, yo, yo, yo. Nancy, good to see you. Caleb as well. Admin, whoever you are, hello. Claire, nice to see you. Ocean, 888, good to see you as well. Tara and Galaxy Note, whoever you are. So if this is your first time, please let me know. This is a call that I do every single Tuesday, 9 p.m. This is going to be one of the last calls that I do since I'm heading on vacation next week. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a seller call that's live next week or not, but for sure we're having one today. So yay, all good. So again, if you are new, have never done this before, I will give you a little bit of attention so you understand what's going on, what we do, how we do it, and what our intentions are, so you can really understand and grasp exactly what's happening. Now, these are all live deals that are happening right now. This is not done in 1964 or in a different marketplace. These are all opportunities that we get right now. These are students of mine that are in the program. It's not a secret. I mentor. I have people from all different levels, sizes, shapes, experiences. Some are beginners and that want to get into some very aggressive acquisitions like hotels, assisted living facilities, and want to get there as quickly as possible, and understand that having someone that's been there, done that, have the t-shirt, and have your best interests at heart next to you. I don't get a piece of any deal, not interested, don't want it, no desire. I've already made very, very, very good progress in my own development as far as assets go, and I do this because I enjoy it a lot. I really love helping people that really don't know what the hell they're doing, or have real problems in their business, or really just don't know how to get from where they are to where they want to be. And as long as you follow process and steps, pretty much anyone that works their asses off and is willing to learn can get there. So pretty excited to help anyone that really wants to learn. Had my last event since until September last week. I warned you guys, and if you want to attend a 3-day where you learn the basics of this stuff, next one is going to be around September. And if you want to attend that, I'll definitely give you some opportunities to do that. Maximum 25 people per class. Very, very small, very intimate. I'm not looking for volume. Again, I do this because I enjoy it, not because I need a couple bucks on teaching a class. I don't pretty much make no money in the classes. I just want to break even. So that's what that's all about. All right. So, all right. So let it go, man. I don't know what that means. All right. So we're going to have some fun here. Carlos, good to see you, man. First time here, not new to the business. Very good. For those of you that don't know, we only buy assets using none of our own money. It's forbidden for you to write any kind of check to buy assets. We buy cash flow, to tell you the truth. We don't really buy real estate anymore. We're complete cash flow buyers. And if you understand how economy works, even though there's everyone's predicting doom and gloom, recession coming, that's exciting to me, because the worse things are, the more money we make. We're basically beating the market 100% of the time. Since we are in multifamily or in spaces that actually go up in value during difficult times, there's always going to be someone that needs a place to live. And multifamily is always going to be isolated from that, or mobile home parks, assisted living facilities, and even in hotels, you can turn them into a weekly model, which actually makes you more than a nightly model. You actually make more on a weekly model than a nightly. So any asset class that I play with is always going to outperform in a bad economy, in bad recessionary times, in bad times. We always do better, and that's really what I love is those that are really active now and really learning how to do this will just slay it as time goes on. So I'm really, really excited for that. So hopefully you guys are well and are ready to go. I'll give you a little bit of background here on this deal. So this is Brett's deal. He's out of Tampa, I believe, or Clearwater, that area, West Florida. He had a little bit of experience, a lot of experience. Came from the corporate world, went into wholesaling, which is sexy for many. Wholesaling is where you get properties set up on contract, sell them. And I deal with a lot of wholesalers in buying assets, but also helping wholesalers transition from selling the sheep constantly and making a little bit to actually then owning the sheep that makes you passive income for the rest of your life, and looking at it from a different perspective. And if you know how to structure deals, you never need to find the money because the money's always there for the right deal and the right opportunity, which you're going to see here in a second. So this is a hotel that we had put under contract. I say we, but it's really all Brett. I just followed the process, got a property under contract for well under 30% off, which is the first check mark that you have to really get over, is getting the right asset at the right discount. It checked the box as far as the revenue that it is now being at a discount. And there was a huge upside opportunity. In hotels, you have an opportunity where you can increase the nightly, basically the nightly rent that you pay. And based on what others were charging, there was a significant upside of over $400,000 net to keep, which is over $5 million in value on the asset itself. So there's a nice little upside, big upside. And at the current rate that it was already significantly discounted. So good deal in general at first look. And as you know, we trust but verify. We went through the rigmarole of the due diligence, which, there's a step-by-step process for that. Through due diligence, we realized, the income is not as expected, which is not unusual. And we decided to go into a direction of not letting go of the property, which is what a lot of people do, is they say, well, shit, it doesn't make sense, so let's get out of here. Nuh-uh. There's plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, all the way down to Z, or Z if you're Canadian, to double A, double D, double B, double Z, all the way down. And where it stops, nobody knows. There's always a way of monetizing if you really understand what you're doing. So to make a long story even longer, so went to, got this property under contract, realized that the net income was a little bit more dangerous than it could possibly be. And then we created a relationship throughout this whole process with the agent that brought us this deal to begin with, and went from the agent being our counterpart to the agent being our colleague, and creating an opportunity for the seller to get exactly what they needed, because the seller had shared that they needed around $350,000 for them to move on. The agent obviously needs to get paid, and closing costs needs to happen. So the net on this property after debt service, just to make things clear, and I don't even know if Brett is here, because I do not want to give you bad numbers. I always want to give you worse numbers than they are. I never want to blow any smoke under anyone's ass here. Brett, I think this is you. I'm going to allow you to talk, in hoping that you're able to talk as well. So I believe the net after debt service, Brett, have I left anything out, or is this the real Brett or a different Brett?
It's the real Brett.
All right, very good. So so we renegotiated as far as how we're going to be purchasing it, which is a creative deal, taking over the debt, giving the seller some cash, and then walking away. Cash to seller, 350, 325, 350. And the net after debt service. So after the net, after all the debts paid, meaning that there's an existing loan of, I believe, around 4% interest.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Sandra, I'm not sharing any documents at all. I'm just, this is just us talking right now. This is not a case study necessarily. I'm actually going to share the call that this is the preview of where we were on the call, so everyone's on the same page. So Sandra, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So where do we go from here? So 350 to the seller. In a deal like this, we offer to pay closing costs, which are minimal, less than $2,000, because we're doing it creatively. We're taking over the debt in some structure. And anytime we do a creative deal, there's going to be obviously existing bank financing at a very low interest rate. And there's going to be language in the mortgage and the note that basically says, hey, if there's a transfer of ownership, a transfer of power, there's a significant change in management, there's anything that happens at all that's going to make this where you're no longer in control, the loan is called due. It's called a due on sale clause. And I've always said there's always a way around the due on sale clause, which there is. And we got around the due on sale clause. We put everything together. The owner had repeatedly said, I don't need an attorney involved, because we try to rope them in early on in the conversation. Would you say, Brett, that this was at least 6 weeks ago where we said, hey, man, like, let's get your attorney involved. And the attorney said, hey, as long as my accountant's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we actually begged him to involve his attorney so that we could deal with issues early instead of late, and he said no need.
No need. As long as my accountant's okay with it, we're okay with it. So talk to the accountant, and of course, no problem, right? So we get the documents. I didn't have a template for Iowa specifically. Brett found an attorney that could take the existing documents that we had, or existing Iowa documents, to really put together the right way of taking over the debt without violating the due on sale clause. Now, I don't want to get into the weeds here, but effectively the document was going to be an agreement between the seller and Brett. We record our interest, but not the actual recording of the instrument itself, because there's a lot of ways to take over debt. So basically just record a memorandum or affidavit of contract, which is putting a cloud on title, allowing us to control the property without him selling it to someone else. The document basically says that we're going to make the payments, and we've got, I think 3 years to do it, plus an extension. And during that time, we also have a management agreement that allows us to not have to apply for a new franchise with a brand, which that in itself saves a shit ton of money. And we basically just step in, run operations, improve the asset quickly. And as soon as we have good numbers, which Brett, you'll attest, even though you're fairly new at this, I think you understand it. The numbers don't lie. There's such a huge upside. There's at least a $4 or $5 million upside on the value on this, and I think we're into this for about 1.6, something like that.
Yeah, 1.7. And Marco, what I think is worth mentioning, because people could be thinking like, this is like some dumpy motel or something. The current owner bought this property in 2017, put a new roof on it, put all new lighting outside, did a ton of upgrades in the rooms and the common areas. He didn't do everything, but he put a lot of money in the property, and it shows. I mean, you and I walked the property, and it's it's a nice property for where it's located. This is not some beater on the edge of town kind of thing.
It's actually in town and could be the best in class, and it needs a little refreshing. About a couple $100,000, I think, would do it. And that extra couple $100,000 would bring around, again, $400,000 in extra net. So I don't know about you guys, but is injecting $200,000 into an asset worth to make an extra at least $400,000 a year in extra income? I'll ask you guys. Once again, $200,000 extra to generate an extra $400,000 a year. Is that a good ROI? Where do you know that you can put $200,000? Now, if I borrow the money, let's say Brett wants to borrow the money from me, and I say, Brett, I'm going to charge you 20%, which I would never do. If he got 20% interest from me, which he would never do, because there's way cheaper money out there, but if he had to, what would his interest payments be per year? $40,000, right? 20% at 200,000. But he's making $400,000 extra. So does he have the money to pay that $40,000 if he had to? All right. Only 3 people are paying attention. The answer is yes, all day long. All right. So it doesn't make sense not to do the deal, right? It doesn't make sense not to inject the capital. And again, the comparables, because in this industry, you can see what the comparables are and what the rooms are renting for. They're way below what they should be. And there's no reason other than the seller removing their hands from the steering wheel and say, you know what, I'm just done. And the guy's buying a whole bunch of hotels in the area that he lives in and divesting from the hotels where he doesn't. So he wants to basically just not be all over the place, right? And he just wants to consolidate his investments into one little area that he can control, which is fine. No problem, which is an opportunity for us. So back to where we were, where yes, it's a great hotel. Yes, there's a great upside. Okay, we have to give the seller $350,000 after taking over the debt. I believe the net after debt service, if I'm not mistaken, is it 250 or 145? I can't remember. Is it 250 or 150?
After debt service, it's like 120. It's like 10,000 a month.
All right. That's net after debt service.
Correct.
Okay. So that's not including, that's including the mortgage, the existing mortgage that's there. So you're buying the business and you're getting $120,000 a year. All right. So if you calculate 120 into 350, what's that number? 120, which is our net after debt service, divided by 350. That's a 34% return right there. Now we still have to take care of the agent. So there's still some extra cash. Now, again, the upside on this, and the reason also we're going into this direction is because that extra 200 grand is really what's going to make this deal. This deal is going to be before debt service. If I'm not mistaken, Brett, it's 240.
Yeah, 246.
So it's worth about 2.5 million at a 10 cap. It's not a 10 cap market. It's worth about almost 3 plus another 4. You're looking at about an $8 million asset that we're going to be into very, very, very light. Okay. Now let's get back to taking over the debt. So in all instances, at all times, since the beginning of, when banks first started, all right, when banks first went into, business, they're going to take over the bank's interest first. And whenever a seller has said to me, hey, this deal's fine, it's been blessed by everyone that I trust, I need to go to the bank and see if the bank is going to be okay with this. All right. Now, I know about Brett, but I know that as soon as anyone asks the bank, hey, is it okay if I lose control of the property? I have absolutely no more decisions to make. I'm basically giving all my interest away to the guys that I never even met, never met these guys. We've never given a proof of funds. We've never given financials. We've never done anything. Everything has been done over the phone or by email with a contract and had all these conversations. They know nothing about us, period. Okay. I just want to go ask the bank to see if this is something that I should do because I have other assets. I don't want them to pull the rug from under us, the rug from underneath us. Oh, and by the way, the bank wants to no longer be in hospitality. So they don't want this loan anymore. They want this loan off their books. So can anyone guess what our presumed chances would be of a bank even being a little bit okay about this, considering that the due on sale clause that's there is one of the most robust that I've seen. And this seller is saying, hey, why don't we go ask the bank if this is something that we should do? All right. The answer is not even less than zero. It's 0, 0, 0. The chances are terrible. It's like I've never seen it happen in my whole life. I've seen deals killed, torpedoed, destroyed, burnt. No way. No chance.
Well, and what's really funny about it is the documents were expressly written to get around the bank documents, and then they took the bank documents that were made to get around the bank directly to the bank.
Correct. So we put this together to go around the due on sale clause. Right?
Legally.
Correct. So less than 0. So I basically say, Brett, sorry, man, just consider this one dead. You win some, you lose some, it's over. Pretty much like 0 confidence in this. So email goes out saying, this is probably going to kill the deal, but whatever, you do what you want to do. And he does. And the bank comes back and says, we're open to it, which floored me, but we want these documents. We want to know more about Brett. We want to know more about the corporation. We want to see some financial statements. And you know how banks work, right? It's one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. And you said this well, Brett, when we had this conversation, when it first happened, it's banks will kill you with the one more thing itis, right? They say they want 5 things and it's 10 things. When you give them 10 things, it's another 10 things. And this never stops until basically you got to tap out, right? So the bank is open to it, but that doesn't mean much, right? I'm surprised they even were open to it. But again, they want information from Brett, specifically P&Ls, sorry, not P&Ls, but, credit checks, blah, 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 you name it, just the credit worthiness of Brett and his experience. And by the way, Brett has zero experience in hospitality. So how do you think that's going to go if Brett delivers all this information? And not for nothing, I'm not saying Brett's broke, and it's not at all. But do you think that Brett, now if Brett was Canadian, or Brett was European, or Brett was from South America, or Brett was from Hong Kong, had no footprint in the United States, it'd be the same thing, right? We're not allowed to personally guarantee debt. We're not allowed to do any of that shit. So it's a big no-no. So do you see the problem, guys? Just want to make sure that everyone understands the problem, right? So they said, we're open to it. And I'm not sure how this call was arranged, but can you give me some insight on that? Because I hopped on a call with a bank, which is what I'm going to play here, so you guys can hear this call with a bank and how we navigated this.
Yeah. So the bank, the bank said they wanted to talk to us, and at the time, to your point, they were asking for a personal financial statement and authorization to run credit. And honestly, that was supposed to be part of the call, where they were going to explain why they wanted that, needed that, and all that stuff. So the broker set the call up. It was with senior vice president of the bank, the seller, the broker, and then you and I.
Got it. So now we will play this call. Give me a second here while this is not what I want to do. Sorry, guys. It's like my first day at the zoo here. Quit here. Now, Brett, you've never done a debt takeover of this kind. Never bought a hospitality. And by the way,
never
Brett
done
started
that takeover in hospitality. I've done it in single family, but not commercial.
Yeah. And he started November, I believe, of last year.
Correct.
All right. Let me see if I can get this to play. All righty. You guys see the screen?
Yes.
All right. So here we go. Let me just put the chat in so I can see whoever's asking me questions. And again, this is it's live. So if you have questions, ask away. I don't look at the Q&A, just chat, and then we'll take it from there. Again, I have no belief that this is going anywhere. None.
Please enter the conference ID followed by the pound key. Thank you. Guest ID accepted. For help with guest options, press *0. You will.
Okay. So I will say that I'm about 4 minutes late into the conference. All right. 4 minutes late. So I'm coming in. You're hearing it from my perspective. You're not hearing the whole conference. This is just my perspective as from the second that I walked in. Okay. Virtually.
Now be connected with the conference.
Time for that type of product. So.
Yeah, I'm amazed that it's amazing just to see some of the cap rates too that are happening in whether it's Sioux Falls or Des Moines and things like that. It's just interesting to see the cash flow on them because the cap rates have gone so low, just a hyper competitive market. But I mean, with you guys having having 1,500 Amazon jobs coming, it's there's gonna be like occupancy is 100% across the board for sure.
All right, so. You'll notice that I'm on for almost a minute and I haven't said a damn thing. All right. So remember, you have to listen twice as much as you speak. How big is the bank, Caleb? It's one of the top 20 banks in the US. Big bank. I'll say top 30. I have to verify the top 20, but it's a large bank. They were just acquired by another bigger bank. Okay. Which you'll hear in this call. All right. So I'm just listening in and I'm listening. And what is it that they're discussing? This is interactive, guys, and it's important. cap rates, 100% occupancies. How are people buying such low compressed cap rates in this marketplace? Right? Listen carefully.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's like I say, it's good right now, but those cap rates are getting so low. I mean, you probably have experience over the years that there comes a point where you certainly don't want to be the last one to decide to buy a property when it turns on you.
Okay, so he's talking about market shift that's going to happen. Everybody knows it's going to be a market shift. All right, it's happening. I predicted to happen before COVID, but COVID delayed that. But it's happening, and it's very exciting for those that are prepared. Taking over debt just like this. And again, they're discussing, doesn't make sense. You don't want to be the last one. When the music stops, you want to make sure you have a seat, is what he's basically saying. Okay. So again, he doesn't even know I'm there. We're over a minute in.
Then it's trouble.
Sure.
But
Yeah, hey, this is Marco. Nice to meet you all.
hey, Marco.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah, we see a lot of, if I can interject in, I don't know if it was a one-on-one conversation that I just eavesdropped in, but all right. So I'm apologizing for eavesdropping, but it's a conference call. All right. So I'm basically apologizing for even being on the call. All right. Which most people would think is a very terrible move to make, but I'm making myself relatable to this group, and I want to be the dumbest person in the room. I see
No problem.
a lot of these equity funds that are buying at 3-4% returns when the money costs you more.
For sure.
It doesn't make any sense. It's nonsensical.
Right.
So yeah. So we
Yeah, you've got some insight in regards. You're exactly right. And I know, Marco, that you're in Orlando and then also in Vegas, and you guys have properties all over the country. But
what is the agent doing right now? So we're on with a vice president of a bank, and the agent is saying, you got properties all over the country, right? So now he's pre-qualifying me. He's actually edifying me in this conference call because of all the other conversations that we've had. And again, this guy has an interest in getting this across the finish line, right? So he's putting in the vice president's ear. And again, a banker is going to make banker decisions, right? Remember what the mindset is of this banker. I want to see if these guys are qualified. I want to see if these are, I need these documents to make a decision because that's what banks do. And unless I have these documents, you're not getting a loan. I'm not going to approve this. I'm open to it. They didn't say yes. They said they were open to it. All right. Now, but the banker has their meat hooks into this asset. And if they said, you know what, we don't want this, it's over. No matter what we say, it's over. Everything that I say, everything that I communicate, everything that Brett says, everything that Brett communicates, every word out of our mouth will either help the deal or kill the deal. Because this is it. This is it. All right. This is go time.
Working with some banks, we've got some clients that have some connections in California, and there's equity groups that are buying properties in California at a 3% cap, knowing they're not going to cash flow, just betting on the appreciation. Like that's a real, and it's wild.
Yeah.
It's a wild
I don't get it. All right. So people are buying assets in California, banking on appreciation. So they don't even care if it makes any money. It's just going to be worth more later. Right? That's their strategy. Their investment strategy is not cash flow. It's let's park money over here. And as you know, assets go up with inflation. Inflation makes property values go up, rents go up, so they get it. But they're not buying it with if they bought it with just a little bit less, if they would negotiate just a little bit more, they would make money, have cash flow and appreciation. They're only using 1/3 of what's possible because they're lazy. All right. Now, this guy over here could be one of those people that are buying these assets, right? So I have to be very careful and very delicate as to how I post things. All right. So now he knows now that we own assets because the agent has already said so. So listen carefully to what I'm going to do next. The reason that they justify it is from 08 to 12, there were about 12 million foreclosures during that period of time. And during that recession, that crash, it was 12 million new renters on the market. So as the single family and residential space was demolished, people had to rent. So it was an increase in tenants. So they're banking on supply and demand. We generally only buy off market when it's multifamily, or we do a conversion from we're working on a 217 unit in Birmingham, Alabama right now. Is a hotel, 217 unit hotel that we're converting to a VA project. So the conversion is where the money is now, because they don't know how to do it, or they just don't have the mind space to get it done. So, all right. Now this has nothing to do with the hotel, by the way. Why would I do this? Everything I do is strategic in nature. All right. I'm not just talking to talk. There's a very specific reason I'm doing all this stuff. All right. Experience, set dominance. Hey, we don't understand this either, but this is what we're doing. All right. So if we're doing a 200 and some unit assisted living conversion, which is about a $20 million project, and the guy's going to know that if he's in banking. And I'm now talking about this little puny little property, which has 70, 80 units. I'm not sure, Brett, you'll have to tell me. I forgot.
60,
right? By comparison, is this a deal that is beyond our scope or our means? Guys, a little bit, a lot of it, or no way? Not at all. All right. So, and again, we haven't talked shop yet. I don't know anything about the guy. He doesn't know anything about me. And in a very short period of time, I injected my 2 cents worth, which is exactly what happened during the crash. Everyone's worried about, oh my gosh, prices are going to go down. They're only going to go down for those that don't know what the hell they're doing and buying the wrong kind of asset. That's it. And by the way, when single family market crashes, I've said this over the last 9 months, I've sold every single family that I have. I don't own one more. Not one, except the house that I live in. That's it. All right. Sold them all, cash. Now I have cash. What am I going to wait? Market goes down, buy as many as I can, just like in 08 to 12. That's when you sell when everyone's buying, you buy when everyone's selling. That's what you do. All right. So used to doing bigger deals, injected probably the crux behind why people are doing things, showing some credibility. Now, again, am I looking, and I've said this a million times, am I worried about this deal, or am I really setting up any other deal behind it? Because think about this. They're in banking. They know what's coming. Wouldn't it be cool to have someone that I've just talked to that knows exactly what to do when they have a property that they take back, and they can go straight, a big bank where they know strategically what we do, what we're into? I've talked about hospitality. I've talked about multifamily. I've talked about conversion. So I have a lot of exits. So I'm showing that I have skill sets and experience. So when the dominoes start falling, they know exactly where to go. And it's going to be Brett. It's going to be Brett. Brett is the first one in line after this conversation. Even if this deal were to fall apart, I don't give a shit, because I don't expect this to go well. I said this at the very beginning. This is not about this deal. This is about setting up a relationship where we can get more deals behind it. Because guess what, guys? Even if this deal didn't pan out, and Brett would not necessarily agree with me because he really wants to get the deal done. I get it. But just getting the relationship of that banker on our side and he's a senior vice president of this damn bank, guys, where he has access to assets that we would never have access to unless we had this phone call. So there's the opportunity. That's the real opportunity. It's not what you see in front of you. It's what's behind it, and the closed doors, and the conversations that you have that matter. So if he were now to come up with a, hey, I have a 200 unit apartment building or 300 unit this, he already knows that we have that capacity. It wasn't to show off. It was to show that in the future, because I'm coming from the perspective of this is never going to happen. It's over. Got it? So I'm trying to build value for Brett because he's my student. It's my job to really make sure that they, that they're clear that no matter what happens here, we're ready for whatever's coming next. And guess what? We were prepared during the last recession, and we're going to be prepared right now. We're prepared. So that also will make this the bank very, very comfortable. So you see, there's a lot of little things that are happening. And I don't, Brett, I don't know if you know, we never talked much after this, but there's very strategic in nature, am I, when it comes to doing things like this, because no matter what the outcome is, I'm going to win. It's the only way to do business. We're going into different channels now to be able to buy them correctly. So that's the key.
Sure.
Now, again, what did I just do? Did you hear that? I'm going to do it again, just in case you missed it.
Sure. Well, hey, I appreciate.
Did you hear that? Why am I sighing so long? Who does that? Yeah. It's like, do I have to say this again? How invested do I sound in the conversation at this point when I do that long ass sigh? Again, subconscious. I'm speaking to the subconscious of the bank manager. Again, they're coming on this call with, I need Brett's social. I need to pull credit. I need his personal financial statements. I'm going to need his tax returns. I'm going to need his firstborn. I need blood. That's how we're coming into this. One more thing. That's how banks work.
Everybody on the call, obviously everybody, introductions. I mean, Sam Steller, Brett Burris, and then Marco on the buy side with JB Holdings, and then Thomas with Western Bank. Just appreciate everybody getting together. Thomas, I know that I think you had a few questions in regards just to kind of the structure of everything, and just, obviously everybody's put a lot of effort into making sure this is done right and kind of getting it done. I think we're right there at the finish line. We're going to make sure that you feel good about it as well. But I think I'll probably pass it over to you, Thomas, just because if there's any questions or if you want to go there with it, go for it. So.
Yeah, that's no problem. I don't know really the questions that I have as much as the observations, and just want to make sure I get clarity on some things. Number one, from our trans point here, we're looking at the contract you guys are putting together. Will you guys be putting a mortgage against the property?
All right. So none of our paperwork says that we're putting a mortgage on the property. Number one. So I was very confused by the question. Very confused.
Yourselves?
No.
Behind us? Okay.
No.
Okay.
We're only the only anticipated document was the contract that we're in now, and if you go through the agreement that we have, there are a series of documents that we need for it to be fulfilled, and we hit a stalemate at one point. We would have preferred to write a check for it, but with Sam's needs and with the capital stack that's there now, we couldn't quite make it work for everyone to be happy. All right. What did I just say? I know some of you that are in the program, you know exactly what I just did, but I would prefer to write a check, man. We're only here because Sam needs something, and then we're just here to try to help Sam out. We're doing Sam a favor. All right. I want to write this check, but what Sam needs doesn't help him. So here we are. Got it? So this banker knows now we have the cash. We're not doing this because we don't have any money. We're doing this to help Sam. We've built an impasse. We're reminding not only, again, guys, Sam is on this call. Sam's on the call. The agent's on the call. Thomas, the VP's on the call. We're all on the call. I'm now just doing an information stack on how we got here. Because if we don't, he's not going to understand that we're here because of Sam, not because of us. All right. Sam is the owner. Thomas is the vice president of the bank in which he has a mortgage. He's not a banker. He's the VP of the bank, the big kahuna. Well, the second in command, really. So we came up to this alternative process, and we did our best to dance around to make Sam as safe as possible. We're not going to put a mortgage on it. We don't. So we did our best to dance around to make Sam as safe as possible, which I'm basically saying we did our best to dance around the due on sale clause to not fuck over Frank, fuck over Sam or the bank. Frank and bank sounds like Frank. Sorry. Poor Frank. I love you, Frank, if you're listening. All right. So we do our best to not fuck over Sam. But what I really meant to say is make sure that the bank doesn't call the loan due. But here we are talking to the bank, which again, not expecting anything good. No liens, no chatels, just an agreement that because that's all we really need. And the management agreement allows us to get around the franchise agreement as well, where we can just step in. And what we are going to do though is inject a significant amount of capital to freshen up the outside, the inside, fix the pool, get all the case goods back to standard. I don't know if you've been to the place. It's a beautiful place. Sam's done a great job. All right. So I'm saying we're going to fix all the things that he didn't do. Oh, but it's a great place. Sam did a great job. Why am I saying that? Because I don't want to make Sam the bad guy. Sam can't be the bad guy. Now the bank can be the bad guy. So I'm out of bad guys now, right? The returns at the end of the day are supposed to be the bad guy, but shit, everyone that's supposed to be a bad guy is on the call. So I'd be very careful to dance around this properly. But it's not cheap to put it all in there, and we want to, make it like almost like a brand new place and compete and be the best in class with just a little bit less than best in class rates, and that'll fill it up pretty quickly. And then once we have a trailing 12, we can then refinance. We use a Chase product. And because we have a longstanding relationship with Chase, we can get our money at significantly less than what the Fed actually lends. So we use an alternative source of financing. So our objective is to get the bank out as quickly as possible, but we need a trailing 12 to make that happen. All right. So I said a lot in a very short period of time. So what did I just do? Good job, guys. Again, I really want to make sure you understand exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. All right. A trailing 12 is a 12 months historical, so we can refinance, because with a trailing 12, I can refinance. All right. Am I showing that I'm going to put money into the property, that I'm going to invest cash to make the property better? Am I handling whatever concerns they have that they want to? I already know. Remember, guys, at the very beginning of this call, I said they no longer want to be in this space. They're getting rid of all their hospitality loans. They're calling their loans due. They're in hospitality. So by saying, hey, all we're going to do is improve the property because Sam isn't doing it, we're going to make it better. And then once we have good, solid numbers on the board, we're going to refinance you guys out. So you guys are done. And we're going to do it in a trailing 12 in about 12 months time. So the runway doesn't seem like it's that bad. Could this guy, even though he said yes by email on this call, say, you know what, guys, I'm not interested. Fuck off. You're done. Could he have done that at any point? In fact, I was expecting it. So unless I demonstrate what their exit strategy is, how they get out, how they're going to be taken care of. Remember, I'm not talking to Sam. I'm talking to the bank, the banker, and any decisions they make in the future. And again, if they give us something that's not performing and give it to us, and they said, this is not performing, and I give it to these guys and we get our money back in a year, is that better than foreclosing it, not knowing what the fuck to do with it? Think about it. I'm not worried about this one. I'm talking about the next ones because I am not expecting anything good to happen here, just to be clear. All right. Don't get your hopes up, because this is something that's extremely unusual for a bank to say yes to ever. But if I can get the relationship in the door saying, hey, we have experience, this is what we do, we try to help Sam. You know what? This one doesn't work. Well, maybe when you have some opportunities, send it our way. We'll turn that shit around and you get paid off. Because a performing asset is always better than a non-performing one. And if they take it back, they want their properties like herpes. They really don't want it. And I'm telling you, as the economy changes, more and more defaults are going to happen. And the banks don't want these things back. They would prefer to have an organization that can step in. And who do you think that's going to be? It's going to be us. It's going to be those that are in the tribe, those that understand what to do and how to do it. You're going to be either outside looking in, wondering how the hell are we getting these great deals? Or you're going to be within the tribe and going, we just get great deals because that's just who we are, because that's what we expect. Is everyone clear on that, guys? because this relationship is worth 10 times more than this one deal. 1,000,000%. During the crash, I was buying tapes from banks. Tapes are basically microfiches of properties for $10,000 to $25,000 a piece, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath with a pool in Vegas. All right, for $10,000 to $25,000 a piece. You don't buy tapes unless you have a relationship. Doesn't happen. And we're back in those times. It's coming again. So now more and more we're building these relationships with banks just like this. This is an unusual way to go into it, but you get one, you get two, you get them all. Hey, we're working with Thomas at this bank. Go see what we do. Yeah, these guys are great. 1, 2, 3, 4. No more problems.
Yep. Understood. Okay. That's kind of what I was looking for too, is we would prefer, I'm okay with the arrangement like this.
When he said this, I almost fell on the floor. I almost passed out, hit my head on my desk and said, I can't fucking believe this.
I understand there's some money up front, and then, you're basically going to make the loan payments as time goes on, the way I read this. So, so I'm okay with that, but I'd prefer not to have it go longer than, a year or two. So if you get a trailing 12, I think you're probably sitting good to refi it and get it paid off. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. And all right. So his concern is a year or two, right? Now I have to make sure he understands why there's a benefit to us to give him what he wants. I'll say this again. I have to be clear as to how it benefits us for him to be out quicker. Listen carefully. Money's cheaper than what's there now, so the sooner we refi, the better it is for us too, when we get our capital back as well, so everyone's happy.
Yep.
Our money is cheaper, we get paid faster, and our payments are lower. Is that incentive for us to get them out quicker? Our interest is lower, our payments are cheaper, and we actually get all our money out. Is that an incentive to get them out quicker? The sooner we get you out, the sooner we do better. Again, I'm not talking about this property. I'm talking about all the other ones. See, most would be thinking, well, yeah, this is a good deal for this. Nuh-uh. I'm setting up the future with this guy, and he doesn't even know it yet.
Yep. Understood. Okay. So again, from our angle here, DEV is still our borrower. I know there's this contract going on between the two of you. Sam, you are still on the hook until our loan is paid in full. So if something were to happen, we're coming to you. We still have the rights to the property. I mean, it's just, instead of the tenants making the payment for us here, we've got this contract that's making the payment for us here.
Wait a second. What he just said is, instead of the tenants making the payments, it's the contract making the payments. I don't understand. I'm not sure if you guys understand the power that is, that what just happened. He is no longer interested in the borrower. He's interested that the contract is with a group that's so powerful that he's not worried about any borrower, because the contract is making the payment. He's removed a human, or he's removed a group, and now has the belief that the contract, the group that has this contract, the contract is so strong, it supersedes whoever's making the payment. Do you understand this? Brad, I'm not sure if you understand this, or if I'm not explaining this right, because you're pretty good at telling me that when I'm off base. But it's no longer anyone else. It's the contract. I have a contract. The contract is all powerful. The contract is paying us, not the borrower. The contract. Is that clear, guys?
Which is okay for a short period of time. So
Thomas,
I can get comfortable. So.
Forgive me for interrupting you. Do you have a loan servicer that you would like us to use? Because we can set that up as soon as you'd like us to. and that way it's all automated. Or do you, if you have that done yourself? But we can also. Why am I asking about loan servicing? Hey, who do you want us to use to, make sure you get paid? That's what loan servicing is. Do you have a third-party loan servicer that we can connect with so we can just immediately make sure that these things are done? Since the contract's making the money, making the payments, I'd like to see how you want to get paid. Douglas, you are completely right. Assumptive closing. 100%. Douglas, high five on that. It's assumptive close. We've already got the deal done. Now I'm going to just roll into he's accepted it. Holy fuck, let's do this. We're assuming that's already done. Pay for that. We've done that in the past. So if you already have that process, then we can just step right into it. And we
process our own loans here internally. So we don't have a process provider.
Okay.
We do not escrow or anything like that. So you guys would be responsible for the taxes and, and all that fun stuff. But
very, very familiar with it. No problem.
Yep. Yeah, I know you guys have a track record, so I know this is.
I know you guys have a track record. Huh? How does he know I have a track record? Brett, what's your track record?
0.
So why would a banker say, hey, you have a track record? I'll let that sink in for a second. I'll rewind this for a second, because again, this is the power of understanding how to communicate, what to say, what not to say, how to weave information into the process, and really just be methodical and systematic and strategic in our communication. I do this every week. All right. And you hear me do shit that most people say it's impossible. Getting $10 million deals for $1 million, a whole bunch of shit in this marketplace. Nosing out people that are willing to pay more because of how we communicate. And this is what I teach every single day. And I want you guys to learn this. And Brett, you're getting better at it. A lot better. I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but you've been a communicator for a while. And I know that you do this in your business. And I know I'm hoping that there's some tweaks that have helped you tremendously. No problem.
Yep. Yeah, I know you guys have a track record, so I know this is not anything new to you, but new to us to have a contract like this in the middle of it. But that's like I say, we're comfortable with the parties at play here, and again, we're comfortable with Sam as a.
How are they comfortable with us? They don't even know us. When do you think a banker has ever told you, without looking at any financials, they have nothing from Brett, nothing from us at all, nothing? How are they comfortable with us? I'm just going to let that sit for a while.
Our borrower and guarantor, so we'll be good with this going forward. Again, we'd like to have this done, as you just mentioned, trailing 12. That fits into kind of our time frame. I'd like to have it knocked out in calendar 23.
All right. So he said something just now that concerns me, because I don't want to make a promise I can't keep either. I don't want to set Brett up for failure. So I said trailing 12, but again, it's a trailing 12 once it's optimized. So I have to make sure that that's clear.
So hopefully we can cash flow and make that happen. But
well, depending on what the ramp up period is, So, I don't want to set an expectation that in 12 months from today that it's going to happen. So, as long as we're on the same page, the sooner we refinance it, the sooner we get our capital back, and the less our payments are. So we're very incentivized to get this done as quickly as possible.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Again, he said it. I have to handle it right away, because if I don't handle it now, it's going to be a problem later. Guys, I've seen this movie before. When I got excited and I didn't communicate well, and I made promises because cool, I got the job done. I have a year to do it. A year pops up real fast. All right. Real fast.
Well, that sounds good.
Linda, we're taking over the existing loan at around 4% interest. with a loan that's already been paid off for a period of time. We're stepping right into an existing loan structure where now we're paying off the principal a lot faster than if we just had a new loan. This is not a new loan. We're basically stepping into the existing loan with the bank agreeing with it and knowing that we're solid borrowers without ever giving any paperwork.
I understand you're going to need something from me to document that the bank's okay with the arrangement.
Please. What did you just offer? Listen to this, guys. This gets better and better.
To document that the bank's okay with the arrangement.
Please. I'm going to say this again. The sooner we get our capital back and the less our payments are. So we're very incentivized to get this done as quickly as possible.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Well, that sounds good. And I understand you're going to need something from me to document that the bank's okay with the arrangement.
Please. Did I ask for it? This is getting better and better. The bank just offered to say, hey, do you want this in writing?
And to be clear, we didn't ask for that ever through the whole process.
Ever. Now, again, what was the point of this call, Brett? To see what they needed from you in order to make this deal happen.
Correct.
Financial statements, credit report, tax returns, whatever they need, they have. If you want our loan, again, we're not doing a new loan. This is not a new loan. This is just to step into the existing loan.
Yeah, I can send that out. I'll just send it to Sam and he can forward it on.
Perfect.
Just kind of basically I'll wordsmith something together here, an email of understanding that about this contract, and we'll be good.
Sounds good.
All right.
Anything, Thomas?
Sam, this is Brett.
So as I was going to ask, what is it that you need? Brett chimes in and basically asks the exact same question. So, Brett, take it away.
Before we hang up, excuse me, Marco. Sam, I just want to make sure that we've covered all the ground necessary with the bank.
Yeah,
to
all
your
the grounds
satisfaction on
are
this
covered, and the list which I have sent you for documents, make sure you email those documents back to me, and attorney just have to draft that it is how you just have to change those wordings on that for the it is breach in the contract or a non-payment. How does it work? That only thing.
Okay. Brett, I don't know if you know what he said, but I don't understand what he's saying here at all.
Yeah, so his attorney wanted to modify the language of the agreement to have stiffer or more strict language with regards to a default on our part. So that's what he was referring to.
Gotcha.
And then the other thing is, when the banker said he didn't need anything, well, maybe we didn't get to that part yet. So
Yep. You're
sorry.
not there yet. Yep. All right. So now Sam is asking for something, which is a seller. And I didn't understand this. I've listened to this a few times and I still didn't quite get what you were saying, but that's Sam.
He has to change, and then we are good to go.
Okay, and then Thomas, do you need anything from me?
I'd like to get a copy of the executed agreement between the.
All I need is a copy of the executed contract that allows you to take over the payments. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Listen carefully. Brett is like, what do you need from me? Because again, the guy wants this, and this before the call.
Two of you, so I can reference that. I'd like to get a copy of the executed agreement
to change, and then we are good to go.
Okay, and then Thomas, do you need anything from me?
I'd like to get a copy of the executed agreement between the two of you, so I can reference that. And one thing, since this is obviously a legal document and it's in today's world, we are no longer Western Bank. We are First Bank. So you can either do a, First Bank, formerly known as Western Bank, since that's what all the loan documents refer to. But effective February 1st, we became First Bank. they acquired us. So I think for legal purposes, you probably want to have that in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Was that a good transition, Thomas, or was it painful?
So far, so good. Yeah,
Good.
I mean, the toughest part is our systems.
Why am I asking them this? Why am I asking him, hey, was that a hard transition? Back to humanity. All right, we've done the business. Let's a little bit of rapport building.
Just switched over here at the end of May. So I'm learning how to walk again as far as finding information. So after 11 years of learning one system and knowing right where things are at, I'm starting all over. So it's a me problem, so to speak, pretty well.
Old dogs can't learn new tricks,
we
apparently.
can- well, yeah, as long as we know people that know how to get the tricks done.
Exactly. Are you are they Truist just did a big acquisition as well? They merged with BB&T and SunTrust. Are they affiliated? Because the timeline seems identical to what they went through.
Yeah, no, they are not affiliated with us. We're first is out of Billings, Montana, headquartered, and they're out to the West Coast and
Gotcha.
come as far east now as Des Moines, Iowa. So
Nice. Okay. Well, Thomas, it was nice
14
to meet
states,
you,
yeah.
and we'll send contact information as well if you need anything, or if you want to go through Sam, whatever the channels are that makes everyone warm and fuzzy, and look forward to getting this put to bed.
I think it'd be good to have everybody's information if I needed to. But
Yep.
Again, our agreement as far as the bank goes, it's
We
with
understand.
Sam and hospitality.
Yep.
And if anything out of the ordinary comes along, that's who we'll be going to visit with.
I understand. Well, you won't have to.
Yep.
Unless there's a meteor that strikes the Earth, I don't see how that can happen. Or COVID 2023, maybe. But let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
let's not talk
No,
about
we
that.
don't need that again.
And we don't need that again. Absolutely not. These are not the droids that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Thomas, I appreciate your time. Sam as
Yep.
well, and all involved.
All right.
All right. Thanks, gentlemen.
All right.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
And there you go. So, quite unexpected. Shit happened. Remarkable opportunity, and more and more of these are going to be really coming to fruition. And a couple plugs here. So, if any of you are interested in learning how to do this, send me an email, marco@marcokozlowski.com, or transversely, you want your money to work harder for you than you do for it. I don't want to go through the process of actually finding these deals and putting them together. There's the gap lending side where you can get significant returns by putting yourself into the cash requirements for these kinds of deals. And if there's if there is a default, meaning the person that's in the deal doesn't do what they're supposed to do, you actually end up owning the entire deal, which default rate is usually well over about a 60% return. So when you're gap lending, your numbers really go up because you get the entire deal and all the equity and everything else. And that's just how we put things together. So, and we have a handful of these that are have closed in the last week, are about to close in the next week, and always coming up constantly. So if you have some capital and it's not, this is an investment where you're not going to get, you're not borrowing money to, it's your last dollar. There's rules around this, and I want to make sure that, I'm not, this is not necessarily an open solicitation. It's more if you're interested in deals like this, where there's definitely double-digit returns secured on the asset itself. And I know you're really going to enjoy the things that we put together and how to protect you as a lender to make sure that you are really well protected. And the best case scenario is actually for you to get the property yourself, because I only lend with the expectation that the person doesn't pay me back, allowing me to step into an asset that would yield a huge, massive return. And there are 2 or 3 assets like this right now that we're always looking for some cash to park into. So if this is something that you're interested in, send me an email, marco@marcokozlowski.com. There's actually a deal that had I had time, I would have put it together, and actually I have a slide for it. That's super exciting, but we just don't have the time. So send me an email. I'd love to have a quick discussion with you about it. I know some of you have already sent an email on the RV park in Texas. That's still on a slow play. There's some things going on with that, but not to be alarmed. As soon as I have information on that, but as a sidebar, if you do have some, I know stocks are doing great, and Bitcoin is doing amazing, and crypto is doing phenomenal. The thing that does go up significantly with time is always multifamily, assisted living facilities, and assets that really are economy proof and recession proof. And those are the kinds of assets that we really want to play with, because the worse it gets, the more we make. And that's the kind of business I want to be in. And that's something you want to do. Send over your info, marco@marcokozlowski.com. Love to share with you what's possible, and get your hard-earned money working, and again, secured in a way where if the shit hits the fan, you actually make a lot more. It's the only way that I play. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And hopefully this was a good call. You enjoyed it. And we'll see you next week. Same place, same time. If I decide to do the last seller call, if this is not the last seller call of the season, next week will be for sure. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Have a fantastic, fantastic week. And we will talk to you very soon.